everybody. Welcome back to Planet X News. It is August 10th, 2023. And yes, folks, you are hearing my voice for the first time in a very long time. Now, a lot of you know, and some of you may not know, that I was stricken down with Lyme disease, probably about mid-July. I think the date was around July 12th. And if you notice, my speech, it's all messed up. A few days after being diagnosed with the Lyme disease, I woke up and the whole right side of my face was paralyzed. As you can see, I'm having trouble pronouncing some of these words because I have absolutely no use in the entire right side of my face. Some letters and words I have problems with. If I do stretch out the side of my cheek with my hand, the pronunciation of the words come out a little bit better. But if I do that for a prolonged period of time, it really aggravates my skin. So I thought I would, try and take the opportunity to literally speak with you folks instead of typing out these videos. And I know a lot of you have sent in a lot of emails, asking to hear my voice again. And listen, I really appreciate that. This whole experience has been quite humbling. And, this is just a terrible situation, My face actually feels like I've come from the dentist, and the dentist hit a nerve, and can't feel my lips. I've just been able to close my right eye, which is a big problem. I'm able to close my right eye, but I can't, wrinkle my forehead. I can't feel the entire side of my head or, move any facial muscles in the right side of my face. And, I've been having these absolutely excruciating, shocking pains in that mastoid bone right behind my right ear. Now, I know a lot of you folks have commented, about possible ear infection. Well, I've been back to the doctor numerous times, and she's checked very well for an ear infection, and she said my ears are clean. She said she's never seen such clean ears in her 25 years of practice. It's definitely caused by this Lyme disease. I actually think that I may have skipped through the initial first stage of Lyme disease and moved right into the what's called the neurological Lyme disease. And after reading up on that, it's a little scary because there's all kinds of problems that can arise. So, hold on, let me get a little sip of my coffee here to wet my whistle. I apologize. Very hard to drink something. Yeah, it's taken a little bit of practice. And this is quite annoying for me because, as all of you know, I'm quite the speaker. But kind of sound like Daffy Duck here a little bit. But yeah, there's no ear infection. The mastoid bone pain behind my right ear. That's a little freaky because it's not constant. It comes and goes. And let me tell you something. When it comes, you know it. So I'm sure all of you at one point in your life have experienced brain freeze. You know, from eating something cold really fast. Usually like them Slurpee drinks and things of that nature. That is the type of pain that I get in that mastoid bone right behind the ear. And after that pain starts, I end up a few seconds later getting this type of like a electrical shock that then goes through deep inside of my inner ear and then kind of into my jaw. And it is, oh man, folks, I don't you look. it's pretty wicked. It's definitely opens up your eyes. It does make you cringe, and it lasts, oh, I don't know, good 15 to 20 seconds. You know, so you're kind of curled up, your eyes, you know, squeezed shut tightly, and you're kind of just there waiting for the damn pain to go away. And then it does. It instantly goes away. Sometimes I get the pains shooting like that in multiple stages, where I get 2 or 3 of them in about a 4 or 5 minute period, which is excruciating. And, you know, when I was driving to the doctor's the other day, I had multiple pains like that, and it was a little dangerous because it hurts so bad that you literally want to just you know, you cringe, you close your eyes. You know, it's just horrible. But anyways, you know, I'm done with the 21-day barrage of antibiotics that just, Christ, man, just made me sick as hell. I had to take 2 pills a day, one every 12 hours. And then after taking the antibiotic, makes you sick as hell for about 3 hours. And you just want to lay down and hope that the ill feeling goes away. Started myself on a regimen of herbal supplements that I take that should help out, but the issue with the Bell's palsy, the facial paralysis, man, that's really been giving me the worst problem. You know, I have trouble eating, trouble drinking, trouble sleeping, and, you know, as you can hear, trouble speaking. Oh, God, man. And for somebody who likes to talk, like me, having this all of a sudden speech impediment sucks. It really does suck. And, like I said, eating is oh man. Eating and drinking things are just a horrible task. I've already had a couple instances where I come pretty close to choking. So, changed up the diet a little bit and, kind of eating things like soups and salads and eggs, things that are smaller that I could spoon feed into my mouth. I cannot bite into something. Oh boy, does that suck. Because I like sandwiches, things of that nature, hamburger, hot dog, things of that nature that you would have to bite into, pick up and bite. Yeah, forget about it. Yeah, that's not happening. I've tried numerous times. I've tried smaller pieces. You just can't open your mouth the correct way, and then when you go to bite into that food item, you end up biting the living hell out of either your top lip or your bottom lip. Learned that lesson 2 weeks ago. And my upper lip's finally starting to heal a little bit because I bit into it so hard that you could actually hear the skin snap. But the best part is you don't feel the pain. But, you definitely feel the bump on your lip after biting it so hard. And then that made speaking even harder because you have a swollen lip. So, when it comes to this Bell's palsy, there is no cure for it. It's due to an inflammation and a swelling in the facial nerve. And that facial nerve comes out of your spine, goes up through the back of your head, kind of where that mastoid bone is behind your ear. And then it kind of branches out across your entire right and left side of your face. So, no wrinkles in the forehead. It has also kind of collapsed the right side of my nose, my nostril. So it makes breathing out of that side of your nostril kind of hard. Sometimes I have to literally pull my nostril out a little bit so I can breathe. But I don't know. It has to be me that all of this comes down on me like this. I often wonder, me being a conspiracy realist. Yeah. All of a sudden, I'm stricken by all of these things. The onset of this was absolutely horrible. I thought I had the flu. And I suffered for 3 days before actually going to get medical attention. Yeah. Real bad body aches, muscle pain, real bad joint pain behind my both of my knees. Wicked chills. And my skin on my entire body hurt. I can't even explain how that sensation felt, but whenever the onset of the chills would occur, the goosebumps would hurt my skin. And after the 3 days, I said, oh man, something else must be going on because I don't have a stuffy nose. I'm not feeling like I have the flu. Something else must be wrong. So when I went to the Med Express instead of my doctor, they immediately recognized the symptoms and started asking me if I had been bitten by a tick. And I said, I don't think so. I haven't found any, ticks on me. I haven't found any bites. I have no idea. So they said, well, we're going to go ahead and test you for Lyme disease. And sure enough, I think it was like 3 days later, bingo, the test result came back for the bacteria that does cause Lyme disease. And you know me, I research everything, so I started looking into it. And just here in Pennsylvania, in my neck of the woods in the Pittsburgh area, Lyme disease diagnoses have increased to about 30,000 a year. 30,000. And the Center for Disease Control here in my area, I contacted them and spoke with a very nice young lady there who gave me a lot of information, but I don't know, there's not much they can do about it. Who the hell knows? I don't know where the hell I picked it up at. Obviously, a tick bit me. And it got me. Weaponized insects. We've heard a lot about that recently, huh? With Bill Gates and all of his crazy mad science. But I don't want to get into him right now. But I wanted to give you guys a little update on how I'm doing and, what's caused all this. If you're new to the channel here or you're just tuning in, I don't normally sound like this. It's been kind of hard for me to talk. Hey, but it is what it is. I wanted to, before I get into some of this space weather stuff and some of these other topics, I wanted to take this time and thank everybody who has helped me and Dr. Elvers out with your contributions and donations, because once again, it has humbled me greatly. I always consider myself to be, a tough individual. And then all of a sudden, you're in desperate need, and you have hundreds and hundreds of people who you don't personally know literally come to your aid with very thoughtful emails and messages and comments, donating and contributing their hard-earned money to allow you to keep a roof over your head, your electricity on, your water on, and food on your table. Very humbling experience. And it has touched my heart. Because I haven't, I haven't been able to go back to work. And no work means, no paycheck. And then yesterday, to make matters worse, I got a phone call from the company that I work for. And, you know, I've already been off now for 3 weeks. And they notified me that they're going to give me 2 more weeks, and that if I don't get approved by the doctor to go back to work, my eyesight is very critical in my job. I can't be in this condition to do it because it's too unsafe. So they gave me 2 more weeks, and they'll have to replace me. So that was a crushing blow, you know, once again. But you know, folks, I've been down before, and I have faith. And yes, I've been praying to God that this all works out, and works out soon. I've even said to the Almighty, hey, can you do me a little favor this time? Can you get snappy on this and let me get back to normal? Time is of the essence. Because like everybody else, folks, like, you know, you and me, those dreaded bills come rolling around again on the following month. But it is what it is. But I wanted to say thank you to all of you that have been helping out. Really, yeah, you know, it really touches your heart. I have read, I don't know, a couple hundred emails, you know, over the last couple weeks that have been very touching and inspirational, you know, because being inflicted like this definitely has the opportunity to get you down, you know, really down in the dumps. But, you know, I've been there before. Never been like a really depressed person. But, man, yeah, this is depressing. And, you know, you tend to lay awake at night worrying, thinking, driving yourself crazy, you know, over your typical things. Survival. And even though maybe you don't realize it, but each and every day, each and every one of you, that's what you're doing. We are literally surviving in a world that has just become so hostile. Hostile in so many different ways. You know, the world is changing. People's views are changing. Politics are changing. Everything around us is changing. But you know, folks, with all of this change comes a lot of deception, a lot of lies, a lot of brainwashing by governments, the powers that be, whatever you want to call them, the elite. But there's a lot of people behind the scenes that are pulling the strings. There's a lot of deception out there. There's a lot of things that are going on with our sun and this damn object that I discovered orbiting our sun. and this so-called, I don't like to use the word, especially here on the boob tube, but this fake climate change. You know, years ago, folks, it was global warming. Now they've modified that to climate change. That's what I wanted to talk about. You know, I monitor the sun every single day. Have been for, I don't know, almost 2 decades. We're looking at the SDO 304 angstrom ultraviolet light view, and this gives us a pretty good view of flares and prominences and very active regions that you see here in this bright yellow area here. But we are in a solar maximum for the next decade, which means the sun's activity will be increased for this 11-year period, solar cycle 25. And scientists have downplayed solar cycle 25 to be weaker than the last solar maximum. Well, that's a bunch of BS. I've kept up with all of my monitoring non-stop, every single day. And I have seen very serious increases in the sun's activity. A lot of it, I believe, is due to the 28-day orbit of this object around our sun. It's massive. You know, it's I mean, I don't have a definite measurement on it, but, you know, Dr. Albers estimated, I think it was back in 2018, that it was possibly 7 times the size of Jupiter, possibly bigger. Let me take a sip of this coffee, folks. We still don't know exactly what this damn thing is. It's definitely not a planet. You know, we've hypothesized that it's the core of a burned out star. A very, very, very strong magnetic field that, as it orbits the sun reacts to it. So during these occurrences, we have seen, even during the period of the solar minimum, a hugely active sun, with coronal mass ejections happening almost every single day, which in solar science and the solar minimum is unheard of. And I paid attention to it through the entire 11-year period of the last solar minimum, and I showed it on YouTube and I proved it. But solar science said different. They paid no attention to it and they downplayed it. Why? I don't know. You know, more cover-up, more conspiracy. For God's sakes, that's all we live with nowadays, you know? But I'm going to jump to this other view. And this purple view, I mean, you've seen me use this before. This is again from the Solar Dynamics Observatory. 211 angstroms ultraviolet view here. And this gives you a better view of the sun's corona. This big, puffy, expanded, lit up area all the way around there. Okay? The corona. Now, during the solar minimum, this corona damn near disappeared. Okay? And we would see a lot of coronal holes, like these dark areas that you see here. Which then, a lot of heavily charged particles stream from those coronal holes, headed directly towards the Earth, and so on and so on. There's a pretty big coronal hole forming right up here. You'll see it where the arrow is. But, not too worried about these coronal hole streams, but these coronal mass ejections and X-flares, that has been the real pain in the butt for the Earth. Because we're being bombarded by radiation. Higher levels. That's the problem. Higher levels of radiation heat up the atmosphere. And then you get into the talk about chemtrailing. Tic-tac-toeing the skies in an attempt to bounce back some of that radiation and cloak the peasants on the Earth from that solar radiation. Well, that has now come out into the mainstream media, the chemtrailing. They have a different name for it. They're actually coming out and putting it out there in the media and saying, we have to block out the sun to save humanity. We have to spray these aerosols to block out the sun. I laugh because I wrote a book about it called Chemtrails, the Killers in the Sky. They've been doing it for decades. Over those decades, they've modified their approach on how they do this. And listen, folks, every single person listening to me babble away right now has looked up in the sky and has seen these long tic-tac-toe streaks, white streaks from end to end. And then they slowly dissipate and they overcast the sky. I don't want to get into that whole circle of chemtrailing because they'll flag my video. But we all know the deal. And now because they've been exposed for so long by so many different people other than me, they figure, oh, what the hell? Let's just call it something different, put it out there in the media, and claim we have to do this to save the planet. Remember, folks, it's all about the fear. Fear sells it. And the government always wants you to live in fear because then they portray themselves as your saving grace. You need them. Well, that's a bunch of BS. And we know it. As you can see here, once again on the SDO, 171 angstrom ultraviolet view. This gives you a little bit more of a better view of these solar prominences, the active regions, the arcing that you see over here on the side. Beautiful view. But a lot of solar activity. And let me show you something. Let's get out of here. This is the cactus. It's a computerized program that takes data from the coronagraph satellites in space and gives you coronagraph views of coronal mass ejections. That's what it's supposed to do. We're looking at all of the large coronal mass ejection events. This is from August 4th through August 9th into the 10th. And these big colored erratic blotches that you see here, those are large coronal mass ejections. Look at this. Bing, 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 bing. I mean, usually it's not that well painted, as we'll say, because it looks like a splotchy painted piece of artwork there. And when you click on one of these, this green one will click on this one, and it will bring it up and will expand the coronagraph. And let me just stop it, because this is only a matter of the data for the cactus, because the data is so massive, meaning so much data to produce this image. I'll just use the cursor to slow it down. And this is the sun right there where it says cactus. This white line right here that's broken down, that is the computer identifying, the program identifying the directional movement of the coronal mass ejection, which way it's going. So we'll just slide the cursor slowly. And then bam, I'll just stop it right there. So that was back on the 5th. And if you watched, my last couple of videos, we were able to get some pretty good shots of that object as it was moving around from the 4 o'clock position to the 3 o'clock to about the 1 o'clock position. Then it fades behind the sun, loops around, and then comes back down as it exits out around the 10 o'clock and 9 o'clock position, and then we lose it as it drops below the ecliptic. But that's a pretty powerful explosion on the sun, spewing out tons of material. And yes, every now and then the Earth is in its pathway, and we get hit with it. Does it cause problems? I've associated those impacts with earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and definite weather changes. So there's so much behind this, folks. So much. Decades of work, decades of research. And you have to stay up on it every single day because you can't miss something. But that shows you how the blast occurs, how big it actually is. And the Earth, well, the Earth would be equivalent to like that little black dot right there, maybe a little bit bigger. And this occurs, we could go ahead and get out of there. And that was just one. You know, that was just that green stripe right there, and that was on the 5th. Then we had another one on the 5th. Then the very next day, had one on the 6th. Little ones here in between, and then another one on the 7th. So you could see, folks, that the activity on the sun when it comes to these coronal mass ejections and spewing out massive amounts of heavily charged particles, which we'll refer to as material. You know, sometimes the Earth is in its pathway. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes we get a glancing blow. Sometimes we get a direct hit. And I'll show you that here in a minute. But just taking a look at this shot on the 7th. Doesn't look like much. But it's a steady stream of heavily charged particles, material, spewing from a large area of the sun. And again, you know, you can check each one of these. Here's again some smaller ones on the 8th into the 9th, and then on the 9th it kind of seems settled down, but it looks flowing. I have a hard time using the F word or the letter F. Flowing. Not too bad. So it seems to be settled down. You can see it here. And again, folks, there's only 1 second in this video clip. That's all that the cactus provides because the amount of data is just immense. So we'll jump out of the cactus. So in reference to the material, the heavily charged particles hitting the Earth, we're looking at the Space Weather Prediction Center from NOAA. And this is dealing with the solar wind, plasma density, and the velocity, the speed at which that material is heading towards the Earth. And this is from one of the space satellites out there called Stereo A. It's a space satellite, coronagraph satellite, and I use it from time to time. That little green dot right there is the Earth. That little yellow dot right there is the sun. And as we play this, you're going to see how these coronal mass ejections spew out towards the Earth. As I said, sometimes they are direct impacts. Sometimes they're glancing blows. This is where your aurora in both the northern and southern hemisphere comes from, because these particles are heavily charged. And when they smash into the Earth, that's when we see these beautiful colors within the aurora. But within that beauty of color also comes danger. The danger of the heavily charged particles absorbing into the Earth, my hypothesis, all the way down to the core of our planet. So let's check this out. I'll use the slider, and this is by date, so this is going from August 5th, and this will go through the 11th. So this is what's coming. So right here and right here, you can see that coronal mass ejection that occurred between the 6th and the 7th of August. It was pretty big, pretty big explosions. As they start to spew out, you could see how they expand. Now that energy literally goes all the way to the end of our solar system and then out into deep space. But we are not at the end or the outer edge of our solar system. We are much closer to the sun. So therefore, we have a higher possibility of getting hit with the stronger impacts as they exit the sun. And you can see right up here. Now this is going to be a glancing blow. I'm going to back up here just a little bit. When you see these colors of white, gray, and black, that is really, really intense. You can see on the scales over here. So that white, gray, and black, you can see that it is at the top of the scale for both plasma density and the velocity, the speed at which it's coming to or towards the Earth. Now right here, there's the Earth. We'll see that we'll get a glancing blow. But that glancing blow right there will be a little bit of an extreme period. There may be, in the days that follow, from the 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, we may see some larger earthquakes cracking off, some volcanic activity, and changes in the jet stream. And I'm going to show you that now. So as that passes by, you could see the large expansion up here, which is pretty intense. And then there will be some fallout that comes after the 11th. And it doesn't look like much. It might produce some nice looking aurora in the northern hemisphere, but that will be about it. Let me get a sip of this coffee, folks. Well, there you go. Half of it down my shirt. What the hell. So that's a little bit of space weather, a little bit of explanation. And this, I'm going to get into the jet stream here real quick. The causes of some of this weather change, folks, over the last couple of years has all been due to the erratic changes in our jet stream. And our jet streams in both hemispheres control the weather, okay? That's plain and simple. The jet streams control the weather. The last couple of years, I'm going to zoom in here, and the jet stream, we'll just go to the top of the Earth right here. That's the top axis of the North Pole, right there. This purple and pink area that you see here, these squiggly lines forming these erratical formation here, that's your jet stream. The jet stream on this planet has not been normal. Oh man, I'd have to say 2000, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. It's actually gotten worse each and every year because it's all broken up. There's a lot of factors that are involved in this. Well, when I'm feeling better and I can talk more precisely without sounding like Daffy Duck here, I'll go over this again with you folks. We'll keep track of it, but you can judge the weather. Hell, I can do better weather prediction by looking at this model than your regular local weatherman. But this is the cause of why some areas in the United States, around the world in general, that are just having different climate changes, rainfall, drier conditions, changes in regular temperatures. So let's take my neck of the woods in Pittsburgh here. The last couple of years, we've had very moderate winter times. Low snowfall, temperatures not too bad. When I was a kid, growing up in the Pittsburgh area, wintertime sucked. A lot of snow, a lot of cold, and a lot of really below freezing temperatures. January and February, 2 whole months of hell. Well, that's all changed. We've been having, kind of moderate winters. Just a few clicks to the west of us. Oh, man, out in the central part of the United States. Right up through here. Let me go stop the play motion so we can see it. But like right up here, you could see as the jet stream's pooling down. It's all over the place. It's all broken up. It's not a steady stream. They should change the word stream because it's no longer a stream. It's like a bunch of vortices and just totally erratic. And that causes weather patterns to become erratic. A lot of low pressures smashing into high pressures at high speeds. And we just have wild weather, man. Very destructive tornadoes. Hurricane season, last couple of years, hasn't been all that much because of the changes in the jet stream patterns. Weird temperature changes all around the world. But here's the thing, folks. The world, the earth, is like a living, breathing creature. And it has, and it will always go through changes. So when these groups of activists and the government and the elite that come out and try to scare the crap out of you by talking about, severe climate change. Listen, folks, the plain and simple is this. In the wintertime, it's cold and it snows and we have blizzards. When it's springtime, it rains. we have downpours. Some places get heavy downpours, some places get flooded. When summertime comes around, it gets hot. Just because the temperature hits 95 or 96 or even 110, it's nothing new. Although our summer times here in southwestern Pennsylvania have been somewhat moderate. We used to have god-awful dog days of summer. End of July, the whole month of August and going into September. Oh God, every day in the low to mid 90s, humidity 95%, heat index over 100, 105. Miserable, man, miserable. Hasn't been like that. It's been moderate. This summer, it's actually been beautiful. Mid 80s, humidity, not that bad. It's been moderate. But that's here, where I live, in my little dot on that map. The Earth is a big place. And other places on this Earth, well, they're having their changes also. And it's all due to the jet stream. And yes, there's always going to be drought. There is always going to be flooding, blizzards, tornadoes, hurricanes, typhoons, earthquakes, volcanoes. This is the Earth. This is what it does. There are just some factions out there that are using some fancy word and fake science to scare the crap out of you, to further their agenda. And for younger folks, in their teens, early 20s, and, even 30s, that don't know any better because of their age, their experience living on this planet. For us that are in our late 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s, well, we remember those times back when we were growing up and how things were a little bit different. We also remember looking up into the sky and seeing an orangish yellow sun and not a white sun. We'll talk about that in another episode. But please do not fall for this agenda that you're putting out there. There are a few other factors that are adjusting, let's use that word, adjusting our weather. But again, I'll repeat myself. This is the Earth. The Earth has been going through these changes for millions of years, and it will continue. Folks, we all know that every single day on this planet that we live on is not going to be a bed of roses. Babies will be born, and people will die. It is what we call the life cycle. And just like the life cycle, our planet also has cycles that it goes through. But folks, this time around, there are some other factors out there in space that are kind of nudging it, kind of making it a little more erratic. But I believe at this time, it's not going to be anything that we can't handle and adjust to. But, again, these other factions are trying to weaponize it and utilize it to benefit them. And that is unfortunate. And that is another fight that we will all partake in. That much is a fact. This will show you what I mean. A lot of you may or may not know that there are some pretty crazy wildfires that are destroying several of the Hawaiian Islands. Now, we've been seeing these wildfires going on now for years. Not just here in the United States, but, Canada just had a big bout with fires. We see wildfires. Sometimes, folks, some of these fires, wildfires, forest fires, sometimes they are and do occur, they do occur by natural means of nature. And sometimes they come at the hands of individuals who start them. Just last week in Italy, they had massive fires going. Well, a small military drone or police drone caught some idiot out in the wilderness on a motorcycle, purposely setting those forest fires that ravaged parts of Italy. I mean, they had him, they videotaped him. And he saw the drone and he jumped back on the motorcycle after he lit fires and drove away. I had the video on Twitter. I think it was Dutch Sense that uncovered some very strange anomalies on radar, showing how all of these multiple fires, forest fires, all erupted at one time in Canada. And it sent all of that toxic smoke right over top of us and all the way over into, New York and all these surrounding states. Oh, man, did it stink. The air quality here in the Pittsburgh area for about 10 days was in the critical level. Oh, man, it was bad. Really bad. Blocked out the sun. Changed the temperature. And it stunk. So, these forest fires that are ravaging Hawaii and areas of Hawaii and the islands, I don't know. They don't know how they started. They started in multiple areas on multiple islands almost at once. Same situation that Dutch uncovered on that satellite imagery that happened in Canada. I can't definitively say that these were purposely set. However, the intensity of these fires in Hawaii are being driven by the wind. And again, that is due to these very erratic jet streams and these vortices that you see. So right now, instead of the wind down around in the Hawaiian Islands, instead of the wind carrying from west to east, it has circled around and it's going the opposite direction and heading eastward and smashing into the islands at pretty high rates of speed, wind speed. And we all know that, you know, that wind speed will fuel these fires. But what I wanted to show you here is the headline. What's driving Maui's devastating fires, and how climate change is fueling those conditions? Everywhere you look, folks, they're using that terminology. Anything that goes wrong, they're using that terminology. Even if it's just Mother Nature striking back, they're using that terminology. And, you know, it's kind of like, you know, it's a kind of form of brainwashing. Some of us will believe it. Some of us will do some research and not fall for it. But, you know, as I've said in previous videos, folks, we are going to go through so many more changes in the decades to come that, you know, things are not going to be like they were when you were growing up. You know, whether it was the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, even the 90s. We really started to, you know, see the effects of these changes starting to occur around 2012. There's a lot of factors that are involved. And, you know, I have gone over them, you know, a lot of times over the years and over, you know, what, 2,400 videos that I've produced on this channel. And I do realize that we have a lot of newcomers. And I do not mind going over these situations again because I've learned more. There are new factors that need to be discussed. And, you know, as I get better here, and my speech gets better, you know, this paralysis in my face goes away. Once again, I will become a voice to reckon with on YouTube. I'm not going to be silenced again. They've done it to me a few times. But I think things are getting a little too critical. We're going to be talking about a lot of other things on this channel, you know, other than the Planet X figure that we call it, orbiting our sun, creating situations and conditions that we have to deal with here on Earth. But we're also going to be talking about a lot of these Earth changes. What's going on around the world? What's causing it? And, we're probably going to fight a lot with the people the activists promoting this serious climate change agenda. And then that brings us into politics. I never wanted to bring politics into this channel because this channel isn't about politics. But now politics has brought itself into my channel. And we will talk about it, because there is a lot to uncover. There is. And I've been uncovering it for the past, I'd say the past year, but I haven't been vocal about it. Well, that's going to come to an end. As soon as my speech is back to normal and I'm feeling better, watch out. Watch out. I'm going to show you folks a lot of the things that I've uncovered. I've made a lot of good contacts with other researchers and truth seekers, very well educated individuals, all on Twitter. Yeah, a few years ago I found Twitter to be a beautiful, beautiful information source. And it's actually gotten a little bit better since old Elon Musk has taken over. I use the social media platforms for information, not keeping in touch with my aunts and uncles and showing baby pictures. It's my informational source, my connection to other folks around the world. And I've made some good contacts over the last couple of years. And we're going to be looking into a lot of that. But anyways, folks, I'm going to go ahead and jump off of here because my face is, side of my face is starting to cramp a little bit, and it's getting to be a little painful. And I'm sure you guys are probably tired of hearing me babble on with this Daffy Duck voice. If I could continue to speak like this, it's a little painful. I'm really probably about the last half hour. My whole skin in my forehead and my eye and my jaw has been really hurting, but I wanted to continue because I was on a roll and there was a lot to talk about. Maybe what I'll do, maybe even later on today, I'll swallow a couple of these Aleve gel caps that I got there and wait for them to kick in, and then I'll jump on here and we'll start uncovering more of what's actually going on. Once again, folks, for all of you out there that have helped me out with your donations and contributions to literally help me keep the lights on and a roof over my head and Dr. Elber's head, food on our table, water running from the faucets, also to keep the internet on. I love you guys, man. You have really touched a spot in my heart that has softened me up quite a bit. I'm hoping that I could get back to work within this 2-week period and all of this goes away. I'm very seriously hoping. I can't afford to lose my job. That would be devastating. But just like everybody else, folks, the bills come around again, month after month. Rent, electricity, the whole 9 yards. You know the deal. So if there's anything that you folks can do to help keep us going, keep this channel going, assist, whatever you would like to do, whether it's an inspirational email or a message, or you would like to, donate, contribute, you can use the PayPal link in the description box underneath all of our videos here at Planet X News. And don't be afraid to use PayPal. PayPal is more safe than your own bank. It's quite all right. And we will persevere. We will continue to move on. But I just wanted to say that very special thank you to everybody who has helped out. A lot of prayers, a lot of very, very heartfelt emails and messages. And I appreciate it all, folks. It's keeping me going. It's keeping this channel going. And it has really exploded my heart, I'm not usually a softie. But there comes a time and a place where humanity steps up and good people, yes, there are still good people out there in this world, and those good people step up and they help you. And that's what it's all about. Anyways, folks, I'm going to step off of here, go ice my face, and see what else is happening in this world. I thank each and every one of you for listening to me and watching the videos here on Planet X News. And if you're not subscribed, folks, click on that subscribe button, that bell, drop down the bell, and click on all videos. That way, every time a video is uploaded on this channel, you are notified, because YouTube only notifies, 8 to 20% of you guys. If you're not seeing any videos come up in your notifications, just come back to Planet X News and check us out. Check me out. But anyways, folks, have a great day today. Keep an eye in the sky. And once again, thank you. Thank you all very, very much. Take care.